Well, hello and welcome to another rip-roaring edition of the full 80 minutes on Show Me the Money. Oh, God, I've
Whoa. Cut, Sam, carry on, it's all right, we'll do it live.
We're doing it live.
Please don't get this wrong. Yeah, do it, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Carry on.
So yeah, it's Show Me the Money, Rugby League TV on YouTube. Sorry, I've had a bit of a heavy weekend with Rugby League and other activities. But yeah, it is Show Me the Money, Rugby League TV on YouTube. Subscribe. We're nearly at 1,000 subscribers, so that's good. We're hoping this time next week we are at 1,000 subscribers. But it is the full 80 minutes with myself, Mick, Craig, Show Me the Money, Harrison the King, and young Joe Me the Money. We've had so many questions, Craig, about is this player going here, is this player going there? I thought we'd just start. May the 1st has been... You yourself have put a tweet out, Craig, or young Joe's put the tweet out.
I don't know social media.
Saying that there's a hive of activity behind the scenes. Obviously, you can't name names. We know a little bit about who's going to be going where. But for those fans, Craig, that are asking, is this player going here, is this player going there? What can you tell us now May the 1st has been? Obviously, clubs are doing their recruitment for next year and beyond.
Before we get on to that, Michael, two things. One, the competition winner. I got the old tickets for the Wigan. Unfortunately, I think he had some bad news, Joe were telling me, but he managed to send two of his friends, so big congratulations.
I think that was Carl, yeah? Carl,
yeah. I don't think Carl went. Two of his friends have gone. Hope they had a great time. If you just let the show know, everything good. So the first company, and then the other one, Michael, you said was Oliver Wilson, the Rugby League player, isn't?
I know, he messaged me and he says, I'm not, but he said he was originally. So Oliver, or Ollie, we apologise.
So can Ollie get in contact so we can get this package sent to him?
Yes.
Can we organise that, yeah?
Yes. Ollie, we know you watch the show, so please message me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or you can get the Show Me the Money account. Please get in touch with us and we will send you the lovely Oxen sportswear package which David Fafita has signed. So there.
Brilliant, Michael. Yeah, on the moves, mate, it's crackers. It's crazy. I had my busiest week in probably 4 years last week.
Wow.
So I managed to get about 9 deals done and probably 10 deals, maybe, no, 6, 7 deals, what I call the wheels are turning. You're in phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and managed to get loads over the line, which all the paperwork's been sent. We're just trying to get through them as quick as you can. It is crazy. It's not hunting season, Michael, but it's near enough that it's a lot of moves that are happening. It's a bit harder for Joe and Jimmy because, we do it all together, but the Championship and Champ 1 are not quite, they don't know where they stand. So they're all thinking, I'm not going to spend anybody. Super League, the ones who have got confirmation they're in the league are absolutely going mad. So it's our busiest time ever, Mick. Divulging, I can't do that. Privacy, I can't tell. It's the club's job to get the signings out there. We can help promote it by saying some great signings coming. Cass have made a few great signings, I think. Ulkr, Huddersfield. There's been plenty of renewals. Rich Thulis, please don't get whoever sends this thing again. Don't be sending Rich things and saying we've done this and said this, please. The show's not about that. And very nice of people to promote the show, but if you're just promoting your own stuff, it don't quite work. So crazy, Mick.
When we talk about these retentions and signings, Craig, are we going to see players who have established themselves at current Super League clubs going to other Super League clubs?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, quite a few.
Is there going to be some big moves?
Well, I think there already has been some big moves. When the clubs announce them, that's up to them. That's their business. They have to agree with each other. Confidentially, they've got it, and then they try and time it around their sales or promotion, or if they've lost a player, they have to make sure they've got somebody in place. You know that, how it works. They're going to have somebody in place, so when they do say he's leaving, they can also afterwards say, well, actually, our new signing is... They're trying to keep the fans the good news. It's weird, Mick, I watch... I don't do the social media, but some journalists or some people send me clips about things, and it is one for you, for everyone to listen to. How the fans rate a player different to what I would, or us with internal, is incredible. And it's the first time I've admitted it. So you might put a player up who I wouldn't, and I'm not saying this disrespectfully, I wouldn't touch. You wouldn't, and all of a sudden the fans are like, oh, it's amazing, can't believe. So I had a coach last week, a chairman said, there's only you don't rate this player. I said, I disagree with you. I would say some of his teammates don't rate this player. And he's like, yeah, but look at this. And he showed me the social media. And it was like 200 fans saying, oh, can't believe we retained this. Brilliant news. And I'm like, are you kidding? Now, maybe because the fans are not privy, Mick, to the wages. They're not privy to what happens internal.
Correct.
They probably don't look that deep, no offence, into how he plays and how his game affects the team, or if it does in a good way or a bad way. So I would say we're in the social media signings era. If they get good news around the social media when they put it out, that seems to be appeasing chairmen and CEOs. I hope the coaches never go that way. As the famous Wayne Bennett said, if you start listening to fans, you'll be sat with them. That's honestly, I promise you, it's now having an effect on the signings, that they're making sure the fans and the social media side are on board. The fans are the most important people in the sport, Mick. But social media, answer me this, I'll ask you and Joe. How many fans, Mick, who are on social media actively talking rugby league, go to games? What would the split be?
I'd be...
Just a guess.
I'd probably say 40 to 50%. Because I'm quite active myself on Twitter, and a lot of the rugby league supporters, because don't forget, look, rugby league is a niche sport. It's a regional sport. We all want rugby league to expand and go global, but let's be brutally honest. Rugby league on the Twitter sphere, as we call it, it's everybody knows each other. It's like a small village in Castleford or Featherstone. Everybody knows everyone's business, and the same faces that keep tweeting and I engage with, I'd say it's pretty much 50-50. You've got 50% of them will be season ticket holders who actively go week in, week out, and the other 50%, they'll actively sit on the couch, the sofa, or the chair and watch it on Sky Premier Sports.
So they're still invested in the sport if they're on Sky, and they're only buying Sky because of the Rugby League and Premier and Channel 4. So that's still a plus. Yeah. It just means that you're an armchair fan other than a get out there and fan.
But I wonder...
How many Mick on social media are neither?
Well,
I think Mick's... I wouldn't say many from what I see. I know in other sports and other planes of life, it's probably up at 50-60%, isn't it? But I think rugby league, it is that small that if you don't watch it, you don't. It's a bit sad that you don't care about it. I don't think there is random people.
Oh, that's all right. Then that's good news, then, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't know. Sadly, Craig, you don't know the sport exists, and that's why when a couple of years ago, when we went over to see Carl Fitzpatrick, and he was trying to explain when Warrington had just started the marketing with Wolfie, and Wolfie were at the Crucible, and he had the spheres of influence, and he's like, this is rugby league, we're in this one. And then he's like, the next one is the sporting sphere, where you get all the Premier League and the cricket and the rugby union, and that's what rugby league's trying to get out of the rugby league sphere into the sporting sphere. And then, obviously, outside of the sporting sphere, you've got the national sphere, which is all your national news, your weather, and all your other hot topics. And he's like, what he's trying to do at Warrington, and they have had good successes, they've taken Warrington and the brand out of the rugby league sphere into the sporting sphere, and they've also got it out of the sporting sphere into the national sphere, like when the little kid comes on with a car and with a kicking tee and stuff like that, that goes viral. That is getting eyeballs on the sport, not necessarily actually for the on-field product. And that's kind of frustrated me, Craig, because you see all these fantastic tries, you see all these fantastic plays from the players, but we're actually looking at a little lad, no disrespect to the little lad, by the way, but he's driving the kicking tee on, and that's actually got people thinking, oh, Warrington Wolves, look at this is good. That's rugby league. But I'm kind of guessing sometimes with how social media metrics work, to go viral, you kind of have to think outside the box. But
could we, Sam, I'm talking to you behind the camera here, Sam, but could we have one of our questions, what we're doing live now, as just the first 100 people we get on comments, please subscribe, is tell us whether you're either a season ticket holder, Mick, you're better than me at this, so you're either season ticket, you're either random who just turns up to games, Mick, and academies, it can be junior rugby, Mick, and then the other one is you watch Sky, you watch Premier, or the other one is just purely a social media. I mean, I don't know whether anybody,
why would you admit to
anybody
that?
admit to that. But I think we'll have a go. Let's get our first 100 comments, Mick. If we you try and sell that, and I'd be fascinated to know how many people watch games on telly, either watch games junior and don't watch adult, men's rugby, women's rugby. Can we get the split on 100 people, then we could have our own little...
Yeah, well,
there you go.
You've just heard from Craig, and Craig is basically wanting to know, I think we'll include, are you a season ticket holder? Do you go to the games? If you're not a season ticket holder, do you still go to the games? Do you watch on TV? If you're a season ticket holder and you go to the games, do you also watch the games on TV? Be interested to see the split, just so we can see from the comments. So yeah, if you're watching live or you're watching this after we've filmed it and it's gone out live and premiered on YouTube, yeah, let us know in the comments, because I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and
I still think it'll be 50-50, Craig. That's
out
what
of the
I pick
100?
up. That's what I pick up, yes.
Wow.
Because, like I say, rugby league is such... Again, I don't want to say a niche and small and contracted kind of sport, but, it's crazy how you see the same faces on Twitter and everybody knows each other. You don't have the random people
commenting. None of my friends.
So we're not going to have a sports fan.
I never see people. It's the same faces.
I don't see any random people who I know around it randomly tweeting about.
So we're not going to have a sports fan. So if somebody comes onto our comments and says, to be honest with you, I love 10 sports. Rugby League's one of them. I don't go to games, and I don't just purely buy Sky for Rugby League. I buy Sky. I'm a sports fan. Wonder how many of them there is.
Yeah, well,
just sport like.
Yeah, like Roy Keane. Roy Keane said he watches Rugby League, but he's not. He don't go to games. He don't go to junior games. He don't go to But Roy Keane's a sports fan who loves his Rugby League.
Originally, your question was, are they on Twitter? I don't think they're them ones.
No, that might be a social media one. I'd love to know what is the reason you follow it, either through telly, through social media, through going to games. I think if we got that bit of information off 100 people, which I hope we do get 100.
I think 10 of them will be Mick Gledhill news story fans as well, for all the drama Mick creates around the Twitter. I think you've got your own loyal supporters, Mick.
Listen. There's no drama with mine. And just for those that have criticised yet again, who played for Halifax yesterday? It was Oliver Roberts. Listen, just to put the story straight, Oliver knows where I am on a Friday night, and he comes and sees me occasionally, and it's this banter between me and him. So fans that are looking at all this, I don't know, I'm going there, or this is news to me. People need to understand we have a bit of crack, and it does play out like an episode of Neighbours sometimes on Twitter, because other journalists get involved and try and say this isn't happening, it's all false, and then when it happens, tweets mysteriously disappear. Anyway, we're not going into it. It's all politics.
He just did. Brilliant, mate. We're not going into it, but I'll mention everything.
But yeah, this finally, Craig, on the transfer front. Are we going to see any Super League players head to the NRL, or is there much NRL interest for Super League players?
I don't think you'll see many go to the NRL, and I think the player quality. So if anybody watched Lee yesterday, I watched Lee, paid me £10 to watch Lee v
Workington.
And I watched the game. I can't get me.
Was it a hard sell?
Well, you've got one team who've obviously spent £1 million. You've got a team who are struggling. We've got a local team, and they've got probably $250 spend, maybe more with accommodation. It's a mismatch of the highest order.
I can't believe that game was shown. I can't believe that game was shown, by the way.
If you're watching a heavyweight, you've just seen Tyson Fury win the number 20 contender. Yeah. I'm not saying, listen, we had players who played, Will Tate played, you know. And you've got to be really gritty. The two
Davies twins
played.
About to play for Wales in a couple of weeks, I think.
You've got to be really, really... I can't even describe it as a player to get 60, 70 bucket on you. And then you're trying to pick your good things you've done in the game out of that without getting demoralised, thinking, I've just marked... I mean, the centre, Mick, what's he called? The left centre for Lee.
Which one?
The one that everyone's on about.
Nene McDonald.
Nene McDonald, honestly, like Mel Meninga, he's literally picking to score when he wants. It's like watching a big kid at under 15s and he goes, right, I'll score 6 today. And then they'll bring him off because it's not fair on the other side. They should have brought him off. Josh Duggan, ridiculous. I mean, I don't...
But Craig, I know it's all right saying you should have brought him off, but look, we know how competitive Derek and Matt Campbell are, and it's like an arms race, and as we know, Featherstone have still got another big one, and Derek's still saying there's another big one coming from NRL. It's scary.
But I'm only telling you from my view, and I paid £10, Mick. I paid me £10. What did I get out of that game? I don't get it. You've got the Featherstone.
But you don't think as a fan, I'd say as a fan, if you paid for that, you're paying to...
Would you as a Bradford fan enjoy putting 80s and away and knowing that you've got a team
You're paying to watch Nene McDonald, playing to watch Blake Ferguson's first ever game in championship level in England.
Listen, I understand
you're watching all of them play, aren't you? That's why you pay for me.
I understand why the RFL have probably chosen that game, but like I said on the radio Saturday night at Odsall, because people were messaging the show saying, why isn't York versus Halifax on the Hour League game? And I totally agree, and that's my criticism of the Championship, in that we're seeing one-sided games streamed, which doesn't really benefit anyone other than if you are a supporter of the Leigh Centurions.
Exactly.
Nobody wanted to watch Featherstone beat Whitehaven 78 points to 0. The Bradford we'll go on to some of the Championship games in just a minute, but the Bradford Newcastle game, that was largely competitive, certainly in the second half when Newcastle staged a fight back. Dewsbury versus Barrow, there was 2 points between them. That had been a fantastic game to showcase. York against Halifax, you had York who'd won the last 6, Halifax had won the last 5. That was the game of the weekend. I've not seen
Why did they pick the league game?
Yeah, you've got to think...
Just because Duggan's debuting?
Yeah.
No, Blake Ferguson.
Blake Ferguson, yeah, that's the reason.
As a fan, that makes sense. As a fan.
Would you pay £10?
Well, I know
if
that
you're
Craig,
an NRL fan,
Craig,
yes.
You're going to pay to watch it. You're not watching it for now. You're paying.
But Craig,
if you want to watch Blake Ferguson play his first ever game,
I agree, Joe. But as a rugby league aficionado, I do not like seeing one-sided games. I am sorry. I know if you've got two good clubs coming together and it ends up being one-sided, that isn't the unpredictable nature of sport. But anybody who knows the Championship would have gone through them fixture lists. They would have gone Featherstone at home to Whitehaven. I'm sorry to Whitehaven. I know Andy Canavan and the rest of the Whitehaven directors watch and support the show. Without being too disrespectful to Whitehaven, you would have known that would have been, a 40 or 50. In the end, it ended up being 78 points to 0. You look at the Leigh Workington game. Workington haven't won a game all season. They've not really been competitive, other than the close defeat against Batley a couple of summers ago.
And I think the Cumbrian, they played the Cumbrian derby.
There was a Cumbrian derby, which was
they've done all right.
They're clearly struggling, but going to Leigh when you've got Blake Ferguson on debut, again, I'm not being critical. Any Championship coverage is good, whether it's on Premier Sports or if it's streamed. But
I'll tell you this, Mick.
If you put York Halifax on, you'd have probably got double or treble 100%. The amount of subscribers.
Brilliant point.
And I think this is where the RFL and the Championship clubs need to get their heads together, in that I understand York may have... I haven't spoken to York yet, but I suspect what may have happened is York may have said, we don't want our game being streamed because it'll affect the crowd. Derek is very pro, you can come and stream ours, Blake Ferguson. And I get that, but I'd love to see that game being streamed, just how much... effect that's had on the crowd.
I would say if you got the figures of that game, Mick, I would say there'd probably be less than 300 people paid a tenner. So whether it's a success or not, the answer is no.
No.
As a spectacle for paying 200.
Again.
If they'd have picked another 10 games on that weekend, they'd have got more viewers than that.
Agree.
That's all it's about.
And again,
simple
as us with proper sport, when we went to Moorham Crescent, we were, when we did that first game between Bradford and York in 2018, it was, I think when you look at the figures now, because it was on there, it was over 100,000, who were watching it, and it was a magical
Without paying,
moment.
though, that's free.
Yeah, that was free, Craig. But did that affect the crowd because there was nearly 5,000? I remember John Flatman phoning me up and saying, "Mick, be honest with me, how many fans are Bradford going to take?" I said, "John, there'll be 2,000, maybe 2,500 Bradford fans there." And I hope John doesn't mind me saying this. I know John has left the sport currently and he's looking at his next options. John was like, "Shit." He says, we're streaming the game for free. And I'm like, "John, it's the first game of the season. There's going to be a big crowd there. Streaming does not affect attendances." And this is what I hope happens. We get a new breed of chairman like you, John Flatmans, in the sport, who don't have that sort of parochial sort of viewpoint in that, if we stream the game, 1,000 fans are not going to come and we're going to lose this amount of money. Like you say, Craig, there might have been 300-400 people paying a tenner to watch that game. But, as John found out, there was nearly 5,000 at Bootham Crescent. The fact it was being streamed and the fans knew it was being streamed, it created that buzz and excitement. But
it'll be interesting to find out how many people did buy it. Is there any way we could?
Oh, I get the figures, yes.
Yeah, but get some.
I'll get them.
There'll not be more than 300.
I'll let you know privately, but I get them sent by the RFL on a Wednesday. It's like the media kind of things. I know the Premier Sports viewing figures have kind of dropped off. But it's to be expected because Premier Sports, they started with York versus Featherstone. You had Bradford Lee. You had Lee versus Featherstone.
Yeah,
you had them big games fronted up heavy on, and like it's Sheffield versus Widnes tonight. Again, it'll be interesting because what we've seen is like your Bradford Lees, your Featherstone Lees. Those two games were hitting around 75,000, which is amazing. For Premier Sports, those figures are above RFL expectations. But as we've seen when Widnes go to play Dewsbury, you're looking at 16,000. So you can see that there is appetite there. There clearly is demand for the championship, but it depends on what game's being shown. How many do you think
the game will do today?
Sheffield versus Widnes, I think you're probably looking at 15, 16, maybe around 20,000. We'll get the figures from the RFL. The average is for the year is just under 40,000 average viewers per game. So that is still above expectations.
On the plus side for Lee, this is the plus side. Again, that's how I feel about as a fan of rugby league, not a fan of somebody putting 60, 70 on or laying, whatever. I watched Leeds Wakey on Friday night. Went to the game. The way Lee played yesterday, they would give both teams an absolute, and I dare say it, absolute game of their lives. Based on what, Leeds' enthusiasm and grit got them through the game. Can Lee transfer the skill level they're showing and the individuals they're showing against Super League? You'll see this week because Featherstone are right up there. What's it called? The
1895 Cup Final. 12 o'clock.
It's the best game. So big pluses for Derek and Mark. In this will be a game. This will be as good as the other game. People will be going to this game saying, big thanks to Featherstone and Lee for putting on this game. It's going to be the most. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be exciting. So that's it. But there's only two teams you're going to get that with. You'll get it with, the Halifax York. You'll get that. But that's the plus. Spending the money they have, getting the players they have. They can on a big stage at the weekend. It's going to be fantastic to watch that and watch how good, who is the better team, who has got the better credentials. Featherstone were the winners last time. Lee have got another 8 players, I reckon, from that first game. And I reckon every one of them players are probably better than what they had at the time. So, listen, there's a plus side to it, Mick, and big on the lads for doing it. Me just paying me money, like I said, it's very hard. I didn't have a comfortable watch, Mick. If I was a Lee fan, like you said, you might be upset, yeah, giving it this and brilliant. But I don't know if you've ever took, Joe, remember this, Steph not so much. When you're a parent, you take your kids to sport. Joe worked from a school where they only had 12 players in. So whoever were there played it rugby team, played it football team. They had to go and play the likes of Zedber, all these private schools, Leeds Grammars, name me 50. They'd put 70 on them. And you'd get parents with hip flask. Hey, that was great, well played. It's not about winning, but they're winning 70-0. You're then picking the kids up on the way home on the bus. So you imagine them lads coming home on a bus going, oh my God, am I that bad? I reckon half them packed in sport immediately because it was happening every week. It just wasn't a good watch. And then it was unfair on the teams that were putting 70 on you, Mick. They thought they were better than they were. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So you've got these kids' parents going, oh my God, my kid scored 6, well done. They've even got Janetta playing, you know what I mean? Anybody who's got a thing's playing in this team. Do you get me? Now, I were on the other side with Steph, because she was part of a netball side that went nearly national. They won all the regionals, won all the counties. And I felt as a parent when they put 30 on, I never enjoyed that. Do you know what I mean? When you're at other ends, I used to look at the other parents thinking, God, how are they going to lift their kid up? They've just been beat 30-0. So, do you know what I mean? I know sport's competitive, but it's not a great, that's just a personal view. That's just my personal watch.
No, fair enough. So we'll start with the Super League. So you've mentioned Leeds versus Wakefield. Rowan Smith, obviously, his second game in charge, first home game. Craig, you were there on Friday night. James Bentley scored a couple of tries before. I think he's going to face the disciplinary again. I'm not sure exactly. I've not seen the game, so I can't comment. But from the Leeds fans,
Wasn't the best tackle.
no, I understand that, Joe. I have seen the tackle, but from what people have told me about the game, a slight improvement from Leeds, but ultimately 2 poor teams, poor quality spectacle.
Joe, go first. Go on, Joe.
I don't. How harsh should I be?
Be brutally honest. Cause
it was a rubbish watch. It was really poor of a watch, to be honest. Like you said, Wakefield seemed to be, with the announcement that about 2 or 3 of the players are leaving. I don't know what they've decided to do, but it's like they've decided to give up, even though they're ahead of Toulouse and they've got a chat. They've got some great players that could easily stay up if they fought, but it seems like they've going the other way and deciding, we'll let Toulouse stay up. We'll fight for. I don't know. I
disagree with that. I don't think anybody thinks that.
Well, it seems that way. I'm not saying it. I don't know them, do I? But I'm saying it seems that way with how things are going at the moment.
I think it's hard because they're they might not want to give long-term deals for half them players, and they're trying to keep them happy in playing for the team and the spirit, and it's such an hard job to do because to improve Wakefield, half of them have got to go anyway. So you're actually saying to 10 players, listen, play well for us, put us in the shop window, but we won't be renewing your contract. You can't keep giving people contracts and staying the same standard as you are just so the team are happy at the end of the year. So they're all playing because they've all got 2-year deals. If a player's not professional to play for the shirt, regardless of getting a contract, get him out, drag him out and throw it, and that's it. I hope there's no players do that. If players are sat there saying, I'm not going to contract, so I'm not going to put it in, are you kidding? You're still getting paid 80 grand, 90 grand, 100 grand. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So for me, I disagree with that. I think that Wakey will do that. Wakey are probably where they are, if you be honest. If you look at the recruiting they've done, we're saying disappointing, get beat 12-0 at Leeds, but maybe that's where they are. You know what I mean? I would say Wakey have spent least, Mick, in league.
Yeah, I'd probably go with that. Then you've probably got Salford. So
Wakey probably started going to be the bottom, might end up being the bottom. But I think that it's a professional game and they've got to give it everything. And I'll advise any players, if you're playing and you're in the shop window, don't you dare sulk because you've not got a contract at that club. Work, because there's all them other clubs watching you.
Yeah.
So get your head up and play the games. I've said to my players, play the games of your life. Again, Mick, Joe's hit the nail on the head. The spectacle's not great. I can only speak as if you sat in standing, it's just not great. I keep thinking of the greats. I shouldn't do this, and apologies to every modern day player and everybody, but if you look at, there's a new thing, Mick, I've said it before, players do 2 or 3 laps, a lap of the pitch after every victory. Brilliant for fans. What a lovely way to engage with fans. But I hope the players I saw the greatest players ever on that turf did the lap of honours, and they put teams away by 50, and they were that good. You're watching rugby that you couldn't dream you're watching. And they went and did the business, and they went this. I think some players are walking round are in this delusions of grandeur, like, I'm brilliant, amazing, everyone wants this. You're thinking, mate, you can't put a set move on. Back to the Bentley thing, Cameron Smith had his best game, I thought, again, attackingly. He got back to, he fixed people up and he got them isolated. Bentley were great. Bentley were brilliant. I don't know about the tackle, I've not seen it. It was a kick chase. Bentley, James probably didn't have to fly in mid-air. But there's a great point what somebody made to me last week, and I said to this to James himself. At Saints, James was he wasn't part of the leadership group, he was one of the, I think he feels and he's putting pressure on us, and if he doesn't go and do that for Leeds, there's nobody else doing it. Yeah. So James is putting pressure on us and being first kick chase, being the aggression, being the leader. He's trying to be the leader, whereas at Saints, James was probably number 12 at Leeds. He didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
He could just play his game, be James. That kick chase told you he felt he had to lead that group and inject this passion, and he don't. Here's a message to me: you don't need to. You were unbelievable before that. You were best player of. He was just electric. You were doing all the right things. He hit 2 lovely lines off the forwards. He didn't need to. Let some others do that who don't offer as much as what you do as a player. James offers a lot as a player, total energy. The Leeds fans are starting to see it. That's the good thing for James. I think the appreciation for him is coming. other than obviously being in mid-air. And if is it higher than that?
I'd say so.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to be.
But there,
He's going to be. I think.
Got the edge.
I think he's going to be in. He's going to be in not bother. And obviously, we've seen what's happened after that round 1 game against Warrington. And look, James will take it in his stride. Clearly, you say the aggression. I understand it, Craig. I saw a little bit of it when he was coming through at Bradford. Less so at St Helens. Clearly, still a very young player, and I'm sure Rowan Smith, that'll be an issue. Him, Chev Walker, Jamie Jones Buchanan will look to address. But
and the plus for Leeds is to get in the results, Mick. That's the good thing.
Yeah, Rowan's slowly going to turn it around. And
I met Rowan Tuesday.
Yeah.
First,
on his thoughts. He's a very good friend of mine. We stay in touch.
He didn't say he knew you, if I'll be honest. I don't know why he missed that out.
Are you winding me up?
No, I did ask him. He said, I can remember him. Then he used to do the announcing stadium. No, he didn't. I didn't mention you.
To be fair, Craig, we message each other on Instagram. You know what? As I said a couple of weeks ago,
he loves the show. You know he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which I thought were really nice when he sent the message. Saying,
but look, Rowan won't mind me saying this, but when I used to go interview him at Tong, bless him, lovely guy, very philosophical. He'd have the books from Bill Belichick and Michael Jordan. He immerses himself in that literature, and I love it. And I always remember, during Bradford's darkest hour, I go up to Tong, he's got the joss sticks going, he's got like the jazzy music playing, some Australian jazz band, and he was there reading the Bill Belichick book, and he's got all, very similar to John Bastian, he's got all the inspirational quotes on the whiteboards, and look, give Rowan time, he will turn Leeds around, and if he stamps that authority on the players like he did at Bradford, and Bradford played, look, the Bradford fans who watch this show, they'll remember 2016 after Jimmy Laws went, Bradford were throwing that ball around and the rugby was so attractive. The Leeds fans are in for one hell of a journey. And like I say, disappointment result last week against Salford aside, if this is work in progress, don't expect Leeds to be anywhere near the top 4, but if they can turn it around, they'll be in the playoffs, Craig, come the end of the year. And who knows? Because that is what happened with Bradford in 2016. Rowan come in, he inherited a bit of a car crash, a bit of a mess, a club in transition, and he slowly stamped and changed, his game plan on it.
I think until they can...
Are you saying it's still going to be a bit...
Yeah, I think until the pivots can work together 9, 6, 7 and 1 and orchestrate a play, which is orchestrate plays. They don't orchestrate plays together.
Yeah.
It's wishy-washy. It's all individual efforts. Listen, the effort is unbelievable. Fair to them lads. Every single one of them Leeds lads are having a right dig.
Yeah.
But they're not orchestrating. You've got to be honest. If this is what we're on the show for, you don't go.
If Austin and
it's not like
Madeira,
it's not like somebody jumping out and then everyone knows what's going to go off and then end up in Brent Webb's hands and he's going to hit the winger and centre shot. You watch it and you're looking for little gaps, little one-on-one. Where somebody might get over somebody or a couple of penalties. You're not looking at saying, wow, look at this, bang, bang, bang. I don't know how many line breaks Leeds get a game. Doesn't seem a lot to me. Doesn't seem, a lot of that. So I don't know. Rowan's got a hell of a job on his hands. What a lovely bloke. And with you, Mick, loves rugby, loves the show. Yeah. Obviously an anorak of everything.
Yes.
I think if he could... I don't know his assistant's going to be Jonesy or Chev or what he's going to do. Maybe bring something a little bit different in as well, just to mix that up. I think I would. I wouldn't. People say DNA, the Leeds DNA, but they need Leeds DNA to play the best brand of rugby.
Yeah.
Leeds DNA is to play Alatiti, getting ball and just looking. Leeds play football, so you've got to get somebody in there who can play football. Do you know what I mean? And coach it. So that'd be my thing. Is like that DNA needs to be brought back. Don't say people said DNA. What does that mean? I would say if you're a Leeds supporter, you've been used to watching
throwing the ball about, playing loose, playing free in it, and playing an attractive style that's on your edge of your seat. Whether it goes up paddock or you're in for a good game every time you show up, and that's 50-50 on whether that's happening at the moment.
Here's a good one, Mick. When somebody at an RL did it this week, they said, do you know if you make half a break? A good way to gauge the team spirit and where they are. When you get, we all know pace is the winner of the game now. Pace is the difference between most teams. If you've got 3 players on that pitch, Mick, who can absolutely electric at any standard, you've probably got half a chance. That's the way the game is. When you get half a break, I don't know what, you know, all the games we all watch between us, you see certain teams when there's an half a break, you think they're going to finish that. Leeds in the day, 5 breaks, 4 tries. 6 breaks, 3 tries. Do you get me? Because to be 5 people pushing through the line. Remember, it was like this eagerness to get... Danny said to me, as soon as there's half a break, I just sprint towards goalpost. And he goes, as I'm doing that, Rob's next to me, Brent Webb were there, and they're all just...
It's left to the right, where we're going.
No, but the push is electric. I don't see that a lot with teams as much these days. They don't push as fast. I think that's going to be something which seems to be more of a grind. I listened to the whole commentary against Wigan, so I did the commentary. I didn't because it wasn't televised, and the whole just out Wigan in a way. Yeah. They made sure the kick chase were good on the fullback and Bevan. So when they did get the ball, they had 3 or 4 men on them. Yeah. I've heard that and then they played a bit of. They'll get you. Yeah. Play a bit of football close to the line. You've got Gailey. I watched a couple of the tries. Gailey's sinking in. He's hitting Jake Connor. Jake hits the winger. Man
of the match performance from Luke Gale.
Yeah, they were just picking the spots. I think that they got on that left edge like they used to at Cass, and they did it. But I'd like to think, like I said, a good indicator for a team to be would be how many people, when you do make a break, push through the line.
Because I watch a lot of NRL, and that's probably the biggest difference compared to Super League, is that it's just that fast. Any half break, you've got Turbo Tom, Ryan Papadowski.
6.
Every single carry, they're stood there behind. It's like they're super fit. They're obviously all electrically based, as you said, but all super fit in every play. As soon as they hit contact, they're there. You can see them just behind them. Half the time they don't get it out, but you can see they're running in and out. All the players who can get the break.
Athletic enough to do it.
Yeah.
Just there next to him, every play, they're fit enough to just go every play. Whoever takes the carrying next to him, and that's why everyone says NRL's so electric. It's because they're there and they're ready.
Well, we've certainly done it. It's not, we've had the best push teams in the world. It's
been a while though, hasn't it?
I think it's probably something that's happened in the game that the Huddersfield. You think about Huddersfield. Huddersfield becomes successful because Watson's got on playing to a process. He keeps calling it a process.
Yeah.
He's right. It's a slow grind. It's high completion. It's kick chase electrics. All the basics. Then they can play on the back of that. That's no offence to anybody.
It's a simple process.
Ellery Hanley did it 30 years ago. I'm sure Malcolm really. It's the same process.
Yeah.
It's have you got the athleticism and the troops to convert that and stay in that arm wrestle?
Yes.
Have you got the fitness levels for all? What Watson's done is, and I said this to Ollie Wilson last week, you all look so much fitter. Ollie looks twice as fit as he did last year. All them lads there look fit to be able to play Ian Watson's process.
Seems to be a big one in a lot of the good teams in every facet of the sport. Is fitness seems to be a big one, and it seems like some teams might, for what I don't know the ins and out reasons, might not put enough emphasis on that because
Saints certainly do, and they've been the best team, haven't they?
Saints amazing. Huddersfield now, as you said, look fit as well. I'd say Saints.
You've got to say St Helens by far.
Wigan. I think the only ones that might not get away with having fitness is probably Catalans, but they're that good and that crafty. Obviously, you've got Sam and them doing every flick and every way to slow down the ball. That they're probably the only ones who aren't just fitness that are still up at the top. The rest of them that don't seem to be based around being fit as. Fit as they can possibly be, rocking. They're the ones who seem to be worse off, and the better ones are just look fitter.
I'm going to kill you there. You come out with rocking. You went rocking.
Yeah, rocking. Yeah, it's been a while since you could say that, hasn't it? Sorry, I forgot you sat next to me.
We've put these words in what he does every week, Mick, and we were saying on the weekend, Joe will throw one in and he'll go, rocking. And he went, they're rocking. And you did a little... a little flex.
Like better on me, Dad.
Well, it was Warrington St Helens on Thursday. I thought that was a real arm wrestle. Obviously, St Helens, them 12 unanswered points. And then, despite Warrington throwing everything at St Helens in the second half, they just couldn't break them down. And you know what? People always ask me, what's your favourite type of rugby league game? That on Thursday, when it's defence and the intensity's there, close score line. Give me a 12 points to 10 or a 10 points to 6 over a 38, 34, any day of the week.
Brilliant.
You know, real good intensity.
Well, based on that, you'd say Warrington are about there now, aren't you? That whatever the changes are taking place.
Well, yeah, yes and no, because obviously that's a massive game. Look, it was a near sellout crowd, so there was a lot of emotion in them stands, and you're always going to raise your game against a derby rival in St Helens. I don't think Warrington are out of the woods yet, but you can, like you say, you see the slow change, and no secret, Sky Sports coverage starts, you know, Darryl, there'll be wholesale changes at Warrington next year. Obviously, we can't name players' names, Craig, but...
I think
They've just announced one today, haven't they?
Yeah, there's a couple of Aussies, Australian props. The rumour is that the Catalan prop is done deal.
Yeah.
Who's he called?
Cassiano, Big Sam.
I know there's a West Tie, you know, there's a few he supports whether...
Yesterday they said, didn't a player get released so they could sign for Warrington, and didn't that get announced today?
I don't know.
I've not. To be honest, we've been doing the show. I've not checked what's been announced.
Brilliant game, Mick. And back to your point about it being that type of game. The best 2 or 3 of the best games I've watched in my life. I went to Wembley to watch England New Zealand when Sean Johnson turned game. It said we had a minute to go. I've never.
Oh,
that was
don't remind me of
that. I know.
Yeah.
Well, I were there, and everybody in that stadium. Well, the game. Brilliant. No, it was exciting. It was absolutely edgy. That last 6 minutes, it were like, oh no, one mistake, and then unfortunately for us, the right man got the.
I was there as a fan, not as a working member of the media, but when Sam Burgess went through that line and scored, and
they were unbelievable.
We're all dreaming, aren't we?
Yeah,
we're all dreaming.
Final, yeah.
We're all dreaming. We're off to Old Trafford. We're going to face Australia, and it's going to be magical. And then Sean Johnson comes up with that with 20 seconds left to go to break everybody's hearts.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's the type of game.
Yeah.
I know I've talked before about the Leeds Canterbury. I've been at the old derby last year. I love that game. I said to you, it was nip and tuck. It was close. That's what the game's about. If you want to promote rugby league, just keep showing Thursday's game, and it had everything. It had tough tackles. It had excitement. It had push. It had skill. It had everything. The atmosphere was electric. We've got to promote our game off the back of them games.
Those
Do you know
games,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
And listen, Mick, if the new changes come in, and we'll not get into it because it takes too long. We did a full show on it last time. I reckon we'll get more games like that. If they can isolate that type of high level, we can all get to the bar and raise the bar, then we could get them games. Imagine, Mick, having that every week.
Well,
and here's the thing for you. I'd love to, again, know what people think. People said to us about the standard of our players, okay? Could our players play in the NRL? Well, it's the most ridiculous debate you'll ever have. Because Hastings is playing out of his skin. I've been watching the games. Hastings been a good player here. Mm-hmm. 1 man of steel. Probably top 4 or 5 halves in our game, I'd say, over 2 years.
Yeah.
But there's certainly players as good as Jackson. Without a doubt. Strong, great player. If you look at the players who we have in our game, I would say most of our halves, Mick, would have a chance of playing in NRL based on the players that have round them. Okay? Do you know what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
You've got 10 6'4" athletes round you. Could Jake Truman play in NRL? It's ridiculous. Of course he could. Because he'll have that much ammo around him. All he's going to do is do what he does. Could Mikey Lewis? Could Lewis Dodds?
100%.
Could 100%.
Yeah.
People have got to realise they could. I'm not saying our bigger players might struggle because they've got 50 6'3" back rowers. They've got 50 6'5" centres. That's where you might go, wow. But I'll tell you now, the hooker, the 6 and 7, will have a hell of a chance because you would have enough people around you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you drive that Ferrari? Maybe got a chance. You know, it's a nice car. It's got everything going for it. I think that's one thing I'm noticing. People keep asking. I'm like, I would say definitely. I definitely think that we would have a hell of a chance of. And somebody said, what chance have we got in the World Cup? And we'll do a full show on it. We'll start to preview. And I did this with Andy Dodds. With Andy, we went right at it in week. And I said, you know what, Andy? If we pick size, yeah. So if we pick, let me just give you back 5. I'll give you my. I want Wellesby at fullback because I want athleticism. Tompkins is probably a better player, but I don't think Tompkins' legs last 6 games. I don't think you've got a chance of Sam playing 6 games.
So you're going for Wellesby?
I'm with athleticism. I want the kid who can play every game and keep churning it out because he's absolutely fitness fanatic. My wingers, I want 6'3", 4 plus wingers. Would I go for Ryan Hall, who's 6'2", 6'3", but can still... I probably would go for Ryan Hall. I'd still think Ryan had 200 metres against the Aussies, New Zealand, Tonga, anybody. I think he's capable.
Over who then?
Well, this is what I'm going to tell you. So let's say I'd go for him and then Tommy Mack. That'd be me too. I think I still would. That's just me. Then I'd take... This might seem out of box. I'd take an Innis Senior. I know it's people going to go, it's his own player and he's not been picked for nights.
You can't.
If you look at his stats this year, and he got 2 again at weekend.
He's a great player, but...
No, he's 22. Let me explain my theory behind it.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I want 6'5". I want 10.1 GPS. In his full flight, if it's half a break, you'll only get 3 breaks against the top 4 teams. Do you get me? Yeah. You'll get 3 breaks. Historically, you get 4, maybe 4 at most. Rest of it's a grind. I want some players who, if we get half a break, it's all over. Because believe me, when Aussies get their backs coming here, I've watched the Aussies at Old Trafford, Mick, 4 years ago. I think out of 10 breaks, they scored 9 tries. So we've got to have sheer pace. So I'm going to put a load of pace around my wingers. My centres have got to be, again, I'm being selfish. I'm going to do a Gareth Southgate. Gareth Southgate picked players I'd never heard of 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. But he played...
That's your lack of football
Let me finish.
Knowledge.
He played a system. No, the West Ham lads at the time and the Leeds lads.
Everyone knew.
No, Joe. Joe, they knew him, but they were £50 million players who we never played in front of the hell on in the media. Because they played these two. When they first played him, you read the media, there was absolute hell on saying, are you telling me they're better than all these expensive players? He proved it. This system, what we get, we need to think outside the box. On my centres, again, we got a 6'3" centre. Have we got one?
I don't think we have we?
I don't think he's 6'3".
Well, go on then. Athletic centres.
Athletic Mark Percival.
Percival.
Would you go with Percival?
I would, yeah.
I'd go with Percy.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Who's on the other side? I need yardage, I need athleticism, and I need pace.
I know who you're going to go for, and you can't.
You
can't come out with what you're about to say.
I'm not bothered.
It's favouritism.
Are we just calling this team?
It can't be favouritism.
We're calling it the England Show Me the Money Superstar.
No.
I can put £200, £2 million. I know exactly who's
right,
say.
Here we go. We've got Percy in. Who else we going?
Just say it. Don't play again.
No.
Just say it.
Can we go Newman?
On your own things, yes.
I don't know. I want more. I want bigger athletic. I think I'm
Newman's the most athletic centre.
But I want bigger because I think. Listen.
What your favouritism?
If Harry Newman
I'm not with
is
one of my
100%.
You're mad.
Craig, if Harry Newman is 100% fit, we know he's been out with the injury and stuff. He has to be in contention.
You can't say athletic.
If you're talking,
I'm not saying
no, whoa. If you're talking about
I want somebody who can catch eye bombs defensively and eye bombs attackingly. And also be fit and athletic. I want the full deal. I think Harry's an unbelievable freak of a player, but I don't think he's as good as... And against the Aussies, again, the top 4 or 5, that ball will be in air like you will not believe. So I'm wanting somebody who can...
Go on then, let's have it.
Toby King. No, I'm not. I'm kidding. I'm asking us. We're debating. This is what it's about.
Yeah,
you still can't even say a sentence, which is embarrassing.
I'd give my own players, but we're trying to... You're daft.
No, I'm having this all in.
We're trying to think of the player that you're
describing.
No,
forget about me.
Describing?
No, forget about me. Throw your opinions in. We're going to ask people to comment. Throw your opinions in. If we picked an England side.
So I think, in my own thing, Wellesby, Percival, and then who would you have as your centre?
I don't think Sean Wayne will go for Wellesby personally. I think he'll stay loyal with Tompkins.
Really?
Right.
I think he will do. I think he'll go for experience.
But he's slow though.
Look, we know the England Knights.
Do we go Tom Johnson wing?
Well, again,
I'd go him.
Or do we trust his fitness at that level?
Again, it all comes down to fitness and injury. You've
got to play 7 games in 8 weeks.
Look, no offence to Tom Johnson and Harry Newmans. They're injury prone. They've had injuries, you know, there's got to be a risk. There's got to be an element of risk. Now, obviously, if they come back, you know, but like you say, Craig, you can't just come back and do 4 or 5 games and suddenly expect to be in there.
I'm going to throw the Brisbane centre in, Herbie, but then,
Herbie Farns, I'd say.
But Sean Wayne said he's not going to pick anybody from.
No, he's already said that.
Really?
Yeah, publicly.
Why? He said he's not going to do
what. Pick from our game. It's about us. It's not.
He's not going to do the Wayne Bennett where you've got the.
But Herbie's playing unbelievable.
I know he's playing unbelievable.
Hastings can't be picked, so he's saying that they'll be picked from our.
Pick Hastings.
Well, anyway, so your other centres are what? You've gone quiet. I'm
trying to think of who you're saying then.
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying what's your opinions.
So, you've got. I've. Would you
play him?
Would you play him at centre?
Oh,
one of my favourite of all
time.
You've
just said you're going with Percival and King.
Would you go Liam Farrell and get some size in there?
At centre?
Yeah, get some big size in there.
We need to read Liam Farrell's 5'10".
Yeah, that's your opinion. I did Farrell. Well, are we going off your description again?
No, I'm saying we couldn't play Farrell at centre. You didn't say that, did you?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
we need to take that out.
For strength and defensive.
No,
he's not going to miss a tackle.
You could say Bateman. Anyway, let's not do that. We need big size. Farrell's a back rower.
No, well, yeah. Right.
So my back. So let's say we've got Toby King, Percival, and we'll throw in.
You put TK in. All respect to TK, I don't think.
He'll hit some form.
Hang on,
he'll hit some form.
Where's Innis Senior going? Because you've just said you've got.
He's a squad. He's one of my young'uns. I'm gonna have his squad.
And he's just laughed at me. That's ridiculous.
And then I'm gonna go. Mike McGeechan because I want size.
Yeah, Big Mike. Yeah.
I don't know. I think he'll probably pick Elliot Whitehead because I think Elliot, whether it's the Aussie thing or whether he can, I don't know. Sean Wayne.
No offence.
Do we go Bateman's hitting some form? Do we go John and Mike McGeechan? And we have Farrell in the squad.
You would have John Bateman. You'd be mad to not have John Bateman.
So John Bateman and McGeechan.
And on the Elliot Whitehead thing, he is actually British, who's actually played in the Super League over here.
I think that's what Sean said.
That is the difference. Yeah. That is the difference.
We'll go. So Elliot. We'll throw Elliot, Farrell, Bateman, and McGeechan there before. Any offers on that?
Well, McGeechan's been playing prop this year, so would you?
But I just want size, big, huge back row size. Farrell at centre, remember that one?
Yeah, you've just said some shockers. So I'll take my one. I'd put him over at centre and Sweard.
I'd
like to see some.
Come on, think out of the box, lads. Oh, can we get Uzar?
I just did think out of the box.
No. Who's our choice where people go, that's not a bad shout.
It's at centre.
It's not being fashionable club.
I think it's got to be Bateman and Percival, hasn't it, at centre?
We're all stating obvious, lads. I want some more of us.
What about Hardacre if he gets over all his issues and it's a bit of form? Would you say Zach is back, or would you say...
No, I'd say Zach as a squad member, I just think that's a big call for Zach. I'd say let Zach concentrate on Leeds.
Yeah.
Let Zach concentrate on what he's going to do with Leeds. If Leeds can get Zach back to that thing, and he was brilliant, by the way, the day he had a great game. Concentrate on that. Let's think outside the box. Let's throw a couple of names in. What about a yardage monster in Griffiths?
No.
No?
No.
Mick, you don't like that one?
No, not really.
He went. Yeah. No, I don't like that one.
No. I mean, look. You know, I should know the date.
Okay,
I should know the date of this England All Stars game. I mean, it's coming up. I think it's next month.
I've got my outside. It's not outside the box. They've done it before. But would you? The big argument is, where do you put Jake Connor? Where do you put? Do you have JC?
Well, no, we've got. Are we moved right? We're moving on to fullback.
No, centre. That's my outside.
Right. Yeah, not a bad shout.
I wouldn't have him. I wouldn't have Jake Connor at centre.
But Jake Connor's not going to give you 150 metres at centre.
He's not. But then on form, he's got to be in the team, and I won't have him at fullback.
Maybe replacement fullback then. You can't play Jake Connor at centre because purely it won't give you your 150 plus. You'll need to beat the top three sides.
But I'd have him. He needs to be in the team, and I'd probably put him at centre.
Mick?
Well, there you go. You either have Connor as a squad player who has that utility value, who can cover in a number of positions, but like you say, you're not gonna if you're purely gonna have Connor for fullback or whatever position Sean obviously decides to have him, you're not then gonna have a Tompkins and a Wellesby, are you? Because obviously you can only have so many players, but it is a World Cup and it's such an important World Cup, you know. we've been there, done that, and got so close. You know, we got to the final in Australia, the ankle tap on McGillivray. We all remember what happened there. You know, to me, it's a massive year for the sport with IMG getting involved and the 210s potentially on the horizon. You know, we have to deliver.
I'm going to throw an outside back in. That's out of the thing. Joe Burgess, absolutely on fire.
Scored a hat trick at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely on fire.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to throw one.
He played well on Friday night. He played well.
No, he's at Salford.
He's a winger.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm going back to winger. I'm going to throw. I said I'd throw an unfashionable player.
You're just chucking name.
Yeah.
We said centre. I thought we were at centre.
But
he could play anywhere.
No, we'll continue this next show. But like I say, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments. We'll do it properly next week. We'll get all the stats because, like I say, we want to. What's the word I'm looking for? Forensically.
Well, should we all? That can be our homework for the week. All write
and the
out
viewers, you want everybody on the line.
Yeah. All write out our England team, and then let's.
For next week, Sam, we'll do a little preview. Mick can do a preview after the show and say, please, everyone, get your England side for the World Cup next week.
100%.
And the best side. We will get a signed England top from my friend Shane.
There we
best
go.
side who's that judged with
Shane, of course,
it has to be the best judge in the game to judge it.
Well, if you just played Craig Harrison, get anyone who makes 150 metres and you'll
I'll do it. Here's one for you.
You've got to be a show me the money player.
We'll all put our best teams in for next week. It's got to be in for the start of the show next week. Mick will do a clip at the end.
Yeah.
Okay? We'll do the full show on it. I'm going to give a panel of John Bastian, and I'll pick somebody else. 2 people who will pick the best. And I tell you what, a judge I like, Andy Dodds. I think he's right up there with.
You're picking people of the same philosophy as you.
No, Andy. Andy's rock and roll. I will pick.
So Andy Dodds is, of course, Lewis Dodds.
Dad's going to be on the phone to them saying, yeah, he can't. Jake Connor can't. He don't make 150 metres.
No. I'm going to have Andy Dodds and John Bastian. I'm going to judge it. And the best one gets a signed England top, which Shane kindly will donate. We'll give him a bit of a preview.
Yeah. Okay. Deal. Done. Huddersfield 17, Toulouse 16. This is what I was trying to say because I wanted to try and have a talk about what's happened this weekend. Jack Cogger dropped goal, the difference. You know, again, Toulouse showing improvement. You know, they've had a narrow defeat against Ulster Rovers. They've had a narrow defeat against Wigan. They've now had a narrow defeat against Huddersfield. Listen, I spoke to Cedric at Toulouse and they're going to go for it. They're going to go for it, Craig, because they've got to go for it because they've invested so much money. If they go down, I'm hearing, don't shoot the messenger, I'm hearing they'll pull out of the Championship. They won't throw any more money at it and they'll go back into the French division. So for Toulouse, it's shit or bust. It's shit or bust. They have to survive. And when it comes to next year, it is absolutely imperative, Craig, that they get a fair slice of the pie because obviously Catalans, they're what you class as a legacy expansion club. They were the first invited into Super League since, of course, Paris outside of the UK. We know there's been the Crusaders, but obviously Catalans, they were given a couple of years exemption from relegation. Remember Castleford finishing above Catalans and they got relegated, which at the time everybody knew how it was going to work. They had that 3-year exemption period, but it's very unfair on Toulouse. They've got to pay for all the away teams to come over. But, you know, I know you can... Listen, I speak to enough Super League people and they say, well, pity poor Toulouse. You know, they signed the contract agreement to come up. You know, that was that was basically in the contract that they were going to pay. But obviously, you know, coming out of COVID and everything, you know, it's just costing Toulouse far too much money. It's not viable in the long run unless they're going to have a semi-permanent-ish position at the table. So
I got somebody, Mick, a player, I'm not mentioning his name, I went to Toulouse a couple of weeks ago. And he said it's the best setup he's ever.
It is, Craig,
I can't believe what he said.
I've been there.
Is it the phrase? And this, please forgive my ignorance. Are they playing at the Toulouse Rugby Union ground?
Yes, the Stade Ernest Wallon. Yes, they've moved.
What did you say there, Mick?
They're at the Stade Ernest Wallon. It is a magnificent facility. I've not seen or commentated on Toulouse there because.
You fell off at the.
We were at the old stadium, which I forgot its name. I should remember because it was.
Well, all you saw that day, what? off Sky, wasn't it?
We don't need to go into that. I'm not repeating myself what happened, but I was dehydrated. Cedric, bless him, give me silver bucket with Heineken. Listen, we don't need to go into that. But yeah, look, they're playing at a magnificent facility, Craig. We've all seen the games on Sky. I think there was the game against Huddersfield on Sky at the start of the year. Magnificent facility.
I think we should take a full 80 tour, and Sam can come with us if he can get time off. I think we should pick a Toulouse game before the end of the year and do a little bit of filming around Toulouse, even get a little show over there. I think we need to show it because when this player described it to me,
Craig, it's
Mick, he said, no, you're not taking it on. He said, there's only Headingley compares to it. It's that good.
It is.
Is that true?
It's a magnificent facility, yes.
He said they've got training pitches. He said it's like something you've never seen.
It is. It's an all singing, dancing complex, and the stadium holds 20,000 odd. You know, the big screens. Listen, I got a lot of respect for Toulouse, and you know, hearing Cedric a little bit down about all the financials and how whether or not it's perceived unfairly, because ultimately Toulouse have signed the contract to go up, Craig. But obviously, you know, I think the financial reality now is hitting home. They are being treated differently to a Catalan.
As did Toronto did.
They are being treated differently as Toronto. And I understand that inequality does fuel this us against them.
So the old argument is that because they don't have Sky TV, why should they get the full Sky money?
But what I'm trying to say, Craig, is the Catalan Dragons, they still come under the RFL sort of like, look, every club, even down to League One, they'll get a travel bursary from the RFL. Toulouse don't get that. Toulouse are having to fund everything this year. But again, that was in the agreement when they went
Toronto
up.
as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, same with David Argyle at Toronto, Cedric Garcia and everybody in Toulouse. What I'm trying to say, Craig, is if Toulouse stay up, which I think they will do, I think Toulouse will stay up. That's a big, bold prediction.
Well, listen.
That contract has to be changed for next year. I know you can talk about we've lost £16 million Sky money. It should be a level playing field. Fair is fair. End of the day, I understand certain Super League chairmen, they do not want expansion. They do not want these French clubs in there. They want to keep all the money to themselves. And we've had Derek Beaumont. He stuck his... To be fair to Derek, he's wore his heart on his sleeve. He stuck his head up above the parapet. And he makes a valid point. You know, what do Toulouse and Catalans bring to the sport of rugby league? Because we're certainly not selling Sky dishes over there. And there is a growing number of Super League chairmen and high-profile Championship chairmen. And this pressure is going to be put on the RFL at some
IMG will
point.
want them in, mate. Let me tell you.
No, but Craig...
IMG will want them in.
I know, but what I'm saying is there is going to be a tipping point. I don't know if it'll be this year or in the off-season, but there is a growing movement from Super League and Championship chairmen to say to Catalans and Toulouse, if you want to be in the Super League or any restructuring, you're not getting any funding from us. You fund it yourself. You get your own French TV deal. We're keeping the money. We're English teams. We're legacy English teams. That's the word that's being used.
It is poor they don't have their own TV deal over there.
Because what they're saying is, and I've said this many times, Craig, the Sky money ultimately funds the sport. It props the sport up. Whether you like it or not, the broadcast money from Sky basically enables everyone to be full-time.
I get you.
So
but
what they're saying is...
taking the expansion clubs out, watch. Eventually...
But that's the diabetic analogy I said last week when we were talking about 210s. If you go to 210s and you miss out a Keighley, a Rochdale, a North Wales, a Swinton, a Hunslet, a Batley, a Dewsbury, a Widnes even, you know, you're basically just chopping, cannibalising.
If IMG are going to sell this to the world, and that's what they're here for, they're here to sell it to a bigger audience, maybe not the world, but a bigger audience. They are going to need your Toulouse and your Catalans.
I agree.
Now, if we're keeping it to ourselves...
Well, maybe that's what IMG can do, surely, get
well, they are, but they'll need them in Super League.
I know, but get them a French TV
Toulouse
deal.
Cannot.
There needs to be a French TV deal, doesn't it? And then that
sell that to Australia as well. You know, we're about the Australia games.
Yeah.
Let them have the French ones.
But Craig, my argument was, you know, I feel for Toulouse, you know, and like I say, I do not want to see Toulouse go down and then pull out of the Championship period because it's cost them too much, and then they go back into the French, National League. After everything that's happened so far, and
what points are they on?
Toulouse are on 4 points.
What Wakefield?
2 wins.
6.
Wakefield are on 6.
Well, unless we're all mad.
It was a massive win for Salford against Castleford. That Salford win probably keeps Salford up, in my opinion. I know there's a long way to go, But, Salford just seemed to get the wins.
Salford will definitely stay up.
Yeah, that's not even in contention anymore, is it, Mick? I thought it's literally just...
No.
Toulouse and Wakey are going to win to win, aren't they?
No, but I'm just saying, what I saw Salford on Fridays convinced me in my head, even though there was still a little bit of doubt. What I saw with Leeds, because I know Rowan will turn it around. Leeds will go close to the playoffs come end of season. There's two clubs. No, seriously, Craig. Leeds will get near the playoffs.
Is that just your faith in Rowan, or if you take out Rowan?
It's my faith in Rowan.
Will the team...
Leeds is a transition club. We all agree. It's a bit of a mess there at the minute. The sooner they replace Richard Agar, if Tony comes in or whatever goes on there, if Richard stays... Look, they need to get the recruitment right. Leeds is a transition club. Rowan is going to need time. Warrington is a transition club. Darryl Powell, he needs time.
I agree completely
Craig,
with you.
You've got to look at what Ian Watson's done with Huddersfield.
It's not hard to be close to playoffs because we've only got 10 teams, 12 teams in it. So so if you're 7th, you go, I'm close to playoffs.
But what I'm saying, Craig, is I think Leeds are 5 points off the playoffs as we're currently speaking.
Yeah, and it will be because we haven't got that much.
Yeah. But we're getting towards the midway point of the season. And like I say, what Rowan's going to strive is for consistency. But yeah, Salford for mine, they're safe. It is between two teams. Hulkinson Rovers may or may not get dragged into it.
I think they will. I think they will a little bit.
I think
the question was asked after the game: is Willie Peters going to come early?
They're too comfortable. I think they're too far ahead. I can't see Toulouse.
Well, okay, I can't
see Wakefield and Toulouse getting that many more
points.
I'll
rephrase that. Do I think they can get enough points to what Joe's saying? Get enough points to drag OKR into it? Probably not. You're right. But do I think OKR need to snap out of the...
I agree. 4 game on...
I was scared the other day. I watched that and I was like, wow.
It was just how... to me, I thought it was a very credible performance against Catalans. It was just ultimately, when they scored the 8 points and they'd gone for the penalty, I understand why they were ticking the scoreboard over. But to me, you're not going to beat Catalans by taking 2 points. And ultimately, I thought that was a very negative...
But then if you put the Leeds away fixture and you put the Challenge Cup semi-final on the back of them, you're definitely going towards... They need something to snap out of it quick.
Yeah.
The Salford game
is huge.
2 weeks' time is the biggest game of the season.
Great.
And that's the message to all our players at OKR and Salford. That game now goes into thing because if anybody's going to get dragged in, it's one of them two.
I agree.
And I don't think they will. I think Joe's right. The gap's probably too big. But whoever wins that puts the other one dangling on. Yeah.
Because, like I say, Craig, I'm looking at it pragmatically, and to me, it'll be Wakefield or Toulouse who'll go down. Wakefield or Toulouse. I hope.
At this moment in time, if we look back at this,
so Toulouse are on 4, Wakefield on 6, Leeds are 10th on 9 points, Salford are on 10. Warrington on 10, Hull KR on 12. Hull KR are too far ahead. Hull KR are not going to get dragged into it.
Historically, though,
they're not going to get dragged into it.
Well, it's an opinion. It's not on yours.
No, I'm giving my opinion. In my opinion, they're not going to get close to getting dragged into it.
I think Salford, I think they could because I do believe that. Do you think Toulouse will end up with 15 points, Mick?
I think Toulouse, and I said this to Joe before we started the show, I think Toulouse's home form is going to save them. I know I keep saying
what do they usually go down? What's the points people go down with? 15, 12?
The average is about 16.
Oh, wow.
We know London went down with 20. That was an exception. I think you need 16 points this year to be safe.
Tell you what.
Because that, believe it or not, that, as we know, is another 6 wins for Toulouse.
Mick, on form, if I ask you or Joe now on form, the last 6 games, who's the worst side in Super League on form?
On form?
Is it
Wakefield? Yes.
Wakefield, yeah.
They've lost the last...
Yeah. Ever since they had the win over Warrington in the league and then the Challenge Cup, they have just plateaued out of existence.
So at the moment, if you said who's the favourites to get relegated, who is it?
Wakefield, yeah.
Wow.
Willie Porchy, Michael Carter. We know Michael watches the show. I know Michael's under a lot of pressure because Wakefield, they've got the repayments on the stadium purchase next year. That's having an effect on players' contracts because the players can't be offered the amount of money. This is no secret. Michael has...
I didn't know. That explains my earlier comment then. That's probably why they're not.
John Minard, the chairman, Michael Carter, the CEO, they've openly told the Wakefield supporters at these fans forums on interviews that, look, the next couple of years are going to be tough coming out of a COVID pandemic because we've borrowed this money to purchase the ground. We're doing the main stand-up. You know, there's got to be concessions. Like when Arsenal moved to the Emirates, there was a couple of years where they didn't spend any money on the squad.
10 years,
when Tottenham have moved to their new stadium, you know, Daniel Levy, one of the shrewdest men in sport management, you know, Tottenham have suffered and gone backwards a little bit when I think they were challenging with Chelsea for the title under Pochettino. And that's what's going to happen at Wakefield, because they've got to pay for the ground, they've got to pay for the stand. It goes hand in hand that they probably can't afford the current wages what some players are on. So your Mason Linos are going to go, your Tom Johnsons. And like you said, Craig, yes, I agree, to improve, you do need that recyclement and you do need that change, but I don't want to upset or scaremonger, but I just can't see Wakefield going like for like and getting the players that are going to get them out of this. Look, it's going to be a fantastic narrative. We all know what happened yesterday on Super Sunday, Survival Sunday, with Leeds and Burnley and Spurs and Arsenal for fourth and Man City, Liverpool. I've never known a Premier League end-of-day season like it. There was so much on the line. Even Man United and West Ham were battling for Europa or the UEFA Conference. That's what I think is going to happen in Super League. I think the drama, once again, is going to be at the bottom. And Wakefield, I just can't see where...
Would that be better if we went to... Would that add the drama for the media if we were 3 points for a win and 1 for a draw? Do you know when you've got end at season...
You very never get the draw in Rugby League, Craig, because there's a golden point.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so you know the 3 points?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can have... Let's say you're just above relegation and it's 3 points for a win, so there can be a 6 point... Does that make that more exciting than ours is 2 points?
But it's just the same.
No,
it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah,
Don't make a difference.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Ulkiston Rovers, 4 games on the bounce now. You know, clearly a lack of form. Obviously, it's coincided with Tony announced he's going. I spoke to one Ulkiston Rovers player. I won't name him. He feels it's best that Tony goes now. He just feels that, you know, with what's gone on and how it's been announced and the bad feeling between Tony, Neil and Paul, he just feels that Tony, it'd be better.
I don't think this...
Well, look,
feeling's a strong word. I think
it's clearly a difficult time because Tony's departing and obviously Willie's ready to come over and I get it. I
think Willie's contracted till next year.
No, I know, but he can't come early, that's what I'm saying. But look, I won't repeat, I won't name the person, but look, end of the day, I understand. I picked up a lot of frustration from.
Let me tell you one thing about players which I don't respect. When they know something's going, there's a weakness. They never look at themselves. They'll throw anybody.
Oh yeah.
And I mean anybody. Coach, CEO's fault. It's this fault. It's fans. They should keep on doing what they're doing. Don't use Tony's exit while you're playing bad. Here's a message for you all. Don't use that crap. It don't work. The real blokes who know the game, that's a load of crap. So saying, oh, yeah, Tony's they were Tony's hero 3 weeks ago. Yeah. The reason I'm the player I am is Tony Smith. Tony. And then 2 weeks later, the reason I'm probably in form is Tony. It's playing with my head, Tony going, yeah, it's free. How weak mentally would that be if you actually use that analogy to see why you're not hitting form? That's just ridiculous. So we're putting that one out. We're not allowing that.
That's fine.
Imagine JP today saying bothered whether it was... He'd be like,
no, that's fine. Right, we're going to drop down from the Super League to the Championship. We'll start with the Featherstone. We've already talked a little bit about this. 14-try romp at Post Office Road.
Oh, we can't. We can't go into that. I'm not talking about
No, we're not talking about it. I'm just saying Whitehaven...
Give us the York Halifax game a bit upon. We can't.
No, well, I'm slowly going through them, Craig, because we do get Championship viewers. Odsal was very interesting on Saturday evening. Bradford 30 points to 0 up. Then a very spirited Newcastle fight back. What I will say is I won't sugarcoat Bradford's performance. They were very good, very efficient, effective. You can only play what's in front of you. That was a very poor Newcastle.
Does Mark Dunning get the job if he carries on winning? Yes or no?
If you want my honest opinion, and I know Mark watches this show.
And he's just phoned me and Joe this morning. Should be very careful what you say here. Because we were going to ask the question and see what you... Because we think you will know this. So Joe's going to turn his chair.
Right.
And I'm going to turn my chair.
Right. If you want my honest, unbiased opinion...
Mark,
and this is no disrespectful whatsoever to Mark Dunning, what I'm about to say. In terms of where the club is, I feel whilst Mark Dunning has the support of the fans and he will have the backing of the fans, I get the feeling, internally, externally, from the club and the support base, they probably want a bigger name than Mark Dunning. What I will say is this. Look at Matty P and Wigan and look at what Matty P has done at Wigan.
And Sean Wayne.
Last week you said it was all Matty P and...
No, Sean Wayne, we're a director of youth.
I know.
Went on to be a legend.
I know, but what I'm saying
The
is...
process you're on about.
I'm on about Matty P making that step up as a head coach.
And Sean Wayne did.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I misread you.
It's all right.
I was interpreting it. Sean's still there pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Listen, look, what I'm trying to say, Craig, is look at Matty P, and Sean Wayne before him. They've made that step up. Look, Mark Dunning, I spoke to him on Thursday at the press conference. He's a Bradfordian. He lives and breathes Bradford Bulls. He lives and breathes Rugby League. He lives and breathes the city of Bradford. I know he's been linked with a couple of other jobs elsewhere. I know Mark is passionate enough. And Nigel, as I said to you weeks ago on this show, when John had gone, I said, Nigel, I get the feeling he's going to be given time. And that is what Mark is being given. He's being given time. And look, I don't want to keep going on about the Bradford Bulls and singing the club's praises. They've had a good weekend. The Under-18s Academy on Thursday beat Leeds, which were fully of Jackson Fields and Joe Gibbons and some of the other young players, Max Simpson. So look, they've had a big win over Leeds, and to think the RFL wanted to take the academy away from the Bulls is disgusting. But what I'm trying to say, Craig, is the women's team have won.
We've heard Harry Gray won.
Harry Gray was very good, yes.
What he did, he got in and then he's been actually promoted to play the reserves.
Yes, yeah. So it's been a good week.
Played yesterday for the
they've
reserves.
won 4 out of 4. Look, what I'm trying to say, Craig, is this. What I saw on Saturday was, I think Mark is realising where the frailties have been in the Bradford Bulls. And I don't want any of the players to take this as me being negative. This is only what I have seen from covering the club extensively. And it was almost like Mark's made a call on Jordan Lilly and Dec Patton, and it's like, not to make Jordan too redundant, but rather than have both of them out there at the same time trying to do the same thing, it was like Mark has told Jordan just to ease off a little bit, let Dec do all the controlling and the orchestrating.
Steve Crossley got dropped.
Steve Crossley got dropped, yeah. So Mark's made some very bold decisions and very brave decisions, and he's been rewarded with Bradford's first win in 5 at Odsal. And without singing too much praise, you are seeing a more expansive style of play. The players did seem to be enjoying it a lot more.
Mick, it's funny you've said that. Let's think about what you've just said there and analyse it. Leeds, I know, is potentially the biggest club in the world, top 3.
Yeah.
They go for somebody with no name, Rowan Smith.
Yeah.
Never won a grand final, never coached.
Well, I wouldn't say he's a no-name.
Well, let's be honest, he's never coached an RL.
He is the son of the famous...
Well, that's brilliant. Well done. That's son of a famous person. That's really good.
No, but Craig, he has...
Joe's son of a famous person, but he's not.
But he has had some success in the Queensland Cup with the North Devils. Look, all right, I'll hear you out.
Right. He has never coached at NRL level, never coached internationally. The highest club he's coached is Bradford Bulls.
Correct.
Okay, and he lasted, 2 years because of what?
Well, in fact, yeah.
But they've took a gamble at the biggest club, one of the biggest clubs in the world, have took a gamble. And we're saying Bradford, who are a much smaller club than Leeds,
but they are still important
are still looking
to the sport.
Massive.
Bradford is still the biggest club in the Championship.
It's not a big club. That's not my point. My point is, isn't it funny out there looking for a bigger name? Yeah, you've just said Wigan and Leeds, two historically the biggest clubs, both saying we don't need a big name. We trust this process. We trust having somebody who's not here because he's won this and won that or played at this level. And Bradford, you're thinking they don't want that.
That's the gut feeling that I'm picking up. I spoke to Mark on Thursday. He's not really hearing anything other than that this continue and get the job done. That tells me Nigel Wood, who's obviously in the stand behind the post, is just giving Mark the time. I don't think Mark wants any more pressure than the pressure he's got, because obviously this is a huge chance.
Imagine if Mark, though. Imagine
this
if
is a
he's
huge
4 or
chance.
5 games on trot and then he still don't get it, you'd be devastated.
Well, exactly, and this is why, look, Mark's a good personal friend of mine, and that's, like I say, no disrespect. I'm not being disrespectful to Mark. If Mark gets the results, if, like you say, we've got a bird. A bird's just flown and flew back out. We've got the doors open here. So, but no, look, it was a very, very positive performance from Bradford, and I think it was hugely important because there was all the narrative of the Odsal hoodoo, unprecedented. Bradford losing 5 games at home in a row. That doesn't happen. That hasn't happened in the Super League era. So, I was relieved with my Bradford hat on for Mark, but that was a very poor Newcastle side. What I will say is, and I'm sure the footage will come out, there was an all-in brawl at the end of the first half.
We were all over WhatsApp in 2 seconds, mate.
Yeah, Tom Holroyd is probably going to be facing 8 games. Jake Shorrocks is going to be facing a very lengthy ban for coming from behind with a clenched fist. There's going to be other players that are going to be cited. Listen, I like the biff, Craig, but that was a bit overkill when you've got all players running in and they're all punching. It turned into a boxing match. But look, Newcastle. I think Newcastle, they're going to recruit differently next year, especially if the 210s come in. We're going to see a very, very different Newcastle team.
They have to.
Yeah, they need more. From what I saw on Saturday for Newcastle Thunder, they're missing that grunt up front. I think they need at least a couple more big physical props. But look, on the Bradford thing, Mark Dunn is going to be given time, Craig. He's going to be given time, and I would like, if Mark goes on a run, because 2 tough games next against Widnes and Featherstone, but if Mark does go on a run, I think he should be rewarded.
We back to the brawl, and this is probably be the talking point of the week. Is we've all got old school values. I don't like using the word what you used, because I think if you play team sports and you see your mate get,
yes, 100%.
If you see one of your mates getting dropped, you're in, whether it's onside or not. You're in. If you're not, wouldn't be a very good teammate. If you just seen your mate get dropped, bang, bang, and you're not running in to throw some. So I don't pick and choose what happens in that. And I'll never forget my mate who can do it. He once kicked off in a football game, and he's, bless his soul, Jade, my mate, and he gave me a lesson in my life. It all kicked off, Mick, there's 20 players throwing absolute bombs. And the first thing a couple of us did was get Jason and got, arm locked him and took. And he says, when it's on like that, you don't ever hold my arms. That's the last thing you want to do, because you've held my arms and I've been hit 4 times because you're trying to be good lads. Don't do it again, lads, or you'll be getting what they're going to get. So last time I went in and held any arms back of anybody, it was once you're in that atmosphere, Mick, and your mate goes bang, starfish, he goes bang, you're in, Mick. You're either in or you're not. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think when Tom threw first couple, there were about 8 Newcastle lads decided they want him.
Look, sport is very tribal. We get that. For
someone to run in and I don't blame anything like that. That's the heat of the moment. You get all them lads after. Let me say this, and hopefully people don't isolate stupid things like they do. It's combat sport. The lads were all in the lounge afterwards. They'll all be looking at each other going, oh my God, sorry about that. They'll be laughing. Yeah. There will be no grudges and there's no ulterior motives. It's called a spur of the moment. Yes, they're going to get punished, and they'll have to get punished because we want this spectacle. We get everyone, it's going to go to all the kids. How's kids going to watch? But Mick, we are a combat sport.
I agree.
I'll guarantee one thing for people who don't know the sport and who are watching it for first time or whatever, they'd have had a beer. They'd have all gone round and said, here, bloody hell, Tom, best right hand offs. I mean, I got 40 WhatsApps going, boom, big T, don't mess up. So everyone were like, oh, it's not, we all laugh. That's the truth, Mick. That's the truth. You know what the truth is. Underneath all the things, it's like, first WhatsApp I got, it's best fate I've seen since JP. It's the best fate I've seen. It were like Fielding.
It's gone viral.
I don't know what's going off, and I'm trying to read.
I don't know how I don't even know how it's got out, because I didn't even get sent.
Somebody on Twitter had filmed it, and they must have. What I'm saying is, I got 60 notifications, and every comment was, don't mess with it. It were like electric for a minute, and I'm not condoning it. We've all got to sit here and say it's totally out of order. It's totally thing. But I promise you, the lads are spare of the moment. That have gone for a beer. That have all apologised. They'll be up at the tribunal. They'll be punished accordingly. I hope not too harshly, any of them, because let me tell you this. Give me that every time for that cannonball tackle. Give me that for lifting people up where you can break their necks and lifting them off the feet. Mick, that is not as bad in my humble opinion, as some of the shithousery that goes off with third man tackle when they're trying to snap your ACLs, or when they're tipping players up and they're landing on the neck, or the crusher tackle, Mick, when you see the neck's trapped and you're thinking, God, that could be horrendous. This is a few lads letting bombs go in it. I bet you were there. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Was it electric 5 minutes after that?
It was. Honestly.
Who took first carry?
I can't remember. I think it might have been Mitch Clark. Basically, Bradford had the ball under the Newcastle post. Newcastle then get the penalty because Ulroy's been doing the haymakers. And let me tell you, the buzz in the crowd, you could see it. It was like, I think I used this in the commentary. It was like getting a little bit of teaspoon of water and just pouring it in the fat fryer on full blast and the flames exploding. Honestly, it brought something to the game. I'm not saying what Tom Holroyd and Jake Shorrocks and the other players did.
Let's not apologise no more. We don't have to.
But look, in all my time of seeing brawls, that was one of the best I've seen at Oxford. But yeah, the poor referee, I'm listening and he's like, what's happened here? Touch judges, because there were that many players throwing punches. But yeah.
Mick, I were there at Ellen Road when JP and the Manly prop got it on. And the roof came off, and it was 30, bang, bang, bang. The famous, I wasn't there when Brian McDermott let the left and rights go in the day.
I was there, yeah.
We were there,
yeah.
right? Well,
1997, yeah. Oh.
But I always said the best one I saw was Wayne McDonald against the halfback for Warrington. I've never seen anything as electric in my life. The halfback for Warrington was 5'9". Nathan. God, they come with a right reputation.
He
scored loads of goals for Warrington. He had please help the show.
I vaguely remember it, but I don't think.
Well, Wayne was 6'10", 9, and the scrum
I always remember the Rob Burrow one at Rob.
The difference between Rob's this halfback threw 20 unheard of punches to Wayne, and everyone he leapt up, and everyone connected on the bonnet. And when you realise when Wayne were looking down at him, it were like, well, there's only one winner here, one little Jack Russell. It were all over in 2 minutes. Wow. Only afterwards that Richie Mather said, by the way, it's best fighter in country.
Well, look, moving on. Dewsbury 18, Barrow 20. Again, you've got a feel for Lee Greenwood and Dewsbury that they're in a bit of a rut at the minute. Lee, again, as we've already talked about, 58-6. York, Halifax, wow. York went into that game 6 games unbeaten. Halifax went in 5 games unbeaten. An electric spectacle. And it was only really the last 20 minutes where York ran out of gas and Halifax scored those 18 unanswered points to take the game. Very little between the two sides. I don't know if you spoke to James Ford yet.
I did the commentary. Joe Keys, everyone said the same thing. Joe Keys was best player on pitch.
Yeah. No surprise there.
Absolutely outstanding, they said.
Again, I'd love to have seen Keysy come back to Bulls. Very nearly happened at the 11th hour. Halifax offered a little bit more, and he's obviously gone to Halifax.
Do you think Halifax offered a bit more, or Bradford should have offered a bit more?
No.
Were he cheaper than the other two halfbacks you've got now?
I'm not so sure on that, Craig.
You probably will know.
All I'm saying is there's no secret that Joe Keys was in talks to come out of
yeah.
But listen, he's a good player, he's a good kid. I've got a lot of time and respect for Joe. But what is interesting now when you look at the Championship, it is effectively a division of 3, because Lee and Featherstone are now 23 and 22 points. You've then got a whole host of clubs who are fighting and battling out for the playoffs. So you've got York on 18, Halifax 16, both Batley and Barrow on 15, and Bradford on 12. And then you've kind of got your mid-table clubs, Newcastle, Sheffield, who might have a chance of getting in the playoffs if they get a bit of consistency. Newcastle, Sheffield, just a little bit too inconsistent for mine. So, you've basically got your Bradford, your York, your Halifax, your Batley Barrow, and two of those are going to miss out on the playoffs. So there'll be 2 big names that miss out on the playoffs, especially with Batley beating London and Barrow getting a tough win away at Dewsbury. So you because of once again Barrow and Batley, what you probably say are overachieving a little bit on the money ball. Look, I know how much Paul Ritson's on at Barrow, and he is on a lot of money, an eye-watering amount, but he's backing it up by being the top try scorer. Look, two of the big Championship clubs are going to miss out on the playoffs this year.
I'm more interested to be honest with you, I think it's 2-horse race for that, but the bottom of the table really.
Oh, well, you've got Whitehaven on 6.
I think that's
London on 3, Dewsbury on 4.
We're going to lose somebody,
Workington
aren't we? That's
2
going
are
to be
going
shocking.
down. 2 are going down, Craig.
Is it 2?
Yeah,
it's
and especially if the 2 10s come in, honestly, listen, I don't want to wish it on anyone, but the 2 championship clubs that go down at the end of this year, it could be curtains because, if you've got to be in that. Because what I will say is, if they do go to the 2 10s and all of a suden...
What points are they on?
Workington are on nothing.
0.
London are on 3. Dewsbury on 4. Whitehaven on 6. And then you've got your Widnes, your Sheffield and Newcastle, who I think have already done too much to stay up.
So
between them 4. It's between them 4.
Wow.
It's between them 4. You've got Whitehaven, Dewsbury, London and Workington.
And would you say who's the favourites?
I think Workington are down.
You've got to say Workington.
Workington are done. They've not picked up any wins so far this year.
I would say done, yeah. I like my Workington boys. They've got...
No, I'm not being disrespectful.
They've got Dewsbury.
Let him finish, mate. Come on, you just
Mick, you've interrupted me about 10 times. You've got Dewsbury in a week. You've got Whitehaven.
What was that?
You've interrupted me about 10 times.
I've not been touching.
Interrupting, not
sorry.
touching me. Fucking hell, that's different. Fucking hell, Mick.
Wrap that one out. That's 2, Sam. We're not live, are we?
No.
For God's sake.
I thought you said touching.
No.
The hands are
Big
in
words. In a bar.
Frankie, don't worry. Don't worry, Frankie, he's safe.
Get that one out, mate. Right, go on.
I don't even remember what I was saying. Workington have got Dewsbury coming up, another game against Whitehaven, and I think London. They've got all 3 to play.
Correct.
So I think it's all to play for. Workington on the pitch, apart from this game where they got demolished, have actually been playing quite good rugby. If you watch it, it's quite interesting, good rugby. All respect to a couple of the other clubs that are there, they don't play that good rugby. They've scraped out the results, but Workington are actually up there and out of the 4, probably playing the most attractive fun rugby, which obviously doesn't always translate into results. But I hope it does for my own viewing pleasure. I hope it does. That's probably more what Well,
it's certainly going to be an exciting end to the championship season because, like I say, you're going to have 2 established clubs missing out on the top 6, and who's going down? And like you say,
if they go down, let me get this
if
right.
London go down, imagine, look, after all the millions of pounds David's put in at London, I mean, we know David's back over here. We know that he's brought a couple of additions.
Am I right in saying then that so London,
Dewsbury, Workington,
Whitehaven, right?
They're the 4 at risk.
So with them 4, are all them coaches under pressure now?
Yes.
100%.
Wow.
110%, yes. They've got to be, because it is such an important season. I know there's all if, buts and maybes and dotting I's and crossing T's. No one knows when the 2 10s or what IMG are going to come up with. But next year, Craig, is going to be the shit or bust. I'm calling it. Because
it's such a shame, isn't it? Because
it's
there's
the
some
final year.
Who's the coaches there?
So Lee Greenwood, Dewsbury.
Oh, people rate as a good coach. He's very intense and he's very... Yeah, then we've got
Chris Foreman at Workington,
Chris Foreman.
John Tigorley at Whitehaven, and you've got Jermaine Coleman at the London Broncos. I'd say Jermaine's probably under the most pressure because
London can't afford for that to happen.
I spoke to.
Do you not think London's recruiting this year? What?
Craig,
Absolutely.
Craig, I spoke.
It's been sold a grip, hasn't it?
I get phone calls all the time, and I spoke to a championship coach. I won't name him this week, and we're talking about London, and I feel sorry for Jermaine. Because they've gone from full-time to part-time. David's kind of pulled out, but he's pulled out too much. They've moved to that fantastic stadium, the Red Cherry Records Stadium. I've done 2 commentaries there. Listen, you put that stadium on Richard Dunn's, listen, Bradford a sound for the future. That stadium at Wimbledon, Plough Lane, it's amazing, Craig. If you ever get down there, I suggest you go there. What they've done with the space and how they've fit it in around the roads and the flats, it's phenomenal. The architecture of that design of that stadium, it is something else. It's probably the best stadium in the championship.
Let me just finish on this one. So them 4 clubs, the stakes are this high.
Yes.
So why are they not making moves? You obviously are making moves, but you've done 4.
I've not, apart
The
from
company,
Workington. Workington have signed the 2 twins from Wales, aren't they? The Davis twins.
Which you said were going to come, and obviously...
They'd have London made any...
You've got London, who got Dane Chisholm in, but then he's on loan.
Well, that's not really panic, is it? Dane Chisholm in, then...
And then left...
Look,
well, that's it.
Look, Dane Chisholm was not going to save London. Sorry to Dane. I know
No, you know what I mean, though? Wait, in Shrewsbury?
Nothing.
A loan signing of Sammy Cabal.
So what am I missing, lads? You're just saying it's the word, but then there's no... I'd be out 48. You'd be out round everywhere. I get this, get that.
I think they're waiting.
Are they happy to go?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I get the feeling everybody is waiting for what gets announced next month when they have the big meeting.
Because something's amiss there, aren't there?
Because there has to be clarity. Ralph Rimmer, Karen Morrow, Simon Johnson, they've all said at these meetings with the clubs, you will be given ample time before the changes come in and take effect. Now, IMG, they must be working on this 24/7, because if they're going back to the clubs next month to say this is the blueprint for the sport moving forward, if we are going to 210s or if we're going to licensing, like I say,
but let's not get deep into that. So if them 4 teams don't and get relegated, at the moment no one seems to be panicking. That's just my opinion. We'd know as agents if they're really panicking.
Yeah. I think the panic will set in the next 4 6
I don't
weeks.
know why they're not panicking more.
I can't believe there's something amiss here. There's something drastically amiss, because
I think there's not that many players available who they want to sign.
But you could make it available, couldn't you?
The problem you've got with Workington and Whitehaven is the location.
Yeah,
you can't come to a Bradford.
But you'd make it
Leeds or a Cass.
Mitch Garbutt's not getting he's just got the French Rugby League job. I'd be flying Mitch over if Mitch is not playing for Toulouse, I'd be flying Mitch over to play for my team for 4 weeks to win me enough points. I don't get it. When I were at Doncaster, forget about me as an agent, as the owner, the minute we lost 1 game, 2 games, I would bring in Jamie Thackeray, and I would fly 2 French internationals. We were everywhere. We were driving around in cars. Shane told me a story today, I think from Joe and Steph. He said, can you remember when we drove to Leeds and 10 o'clock at night, we didn't leave Thackeray's house for 3 hours till he signed on loan from Leeds. He'd just won a grand final. Yeah, I can remember it. That's what you do. It's not big. That's not thinking.
I think they're trying. I don't think some of them know.
Don't know what to do.
Probably not know what to do, but how to get the players in like that. I think there's definitely a bit of getting them up to Cumbria. The Cumbrian teams it's attracting people not on loan to go and sign for Cumbria, and then I think Dewsbury's is probably. I hope I'm not speaking massively out of turn. More the money side of things.
Yeah, no.
I think that's fair, isn't it? I think they're struggling to sign anyone who's they want to spend and they can spend money.
And I still detect.
He's Richie's chairman in North of England, so he's got more than.
Look, I still detect that from a Dewsbury point of view, a Whitehaven point of view. They still think they genuinely can get out of the mess. That's another thing. But look, it's exciting because you've got 2 established clubs that will miss out on the playoffs again, and you're going to have 2 established clubs going down into League One.
Do you get what I'm saying there? There'll be players there that I'm thinking, God, he's happy at Super League. I'd go down and say, right.
Yeah.
No, they are asking that. I don't think.
But are they looking to get him for free? Is that what's happening? They're looking to beg him, or are they saying, here, I've got $2,000 and I'll pay you this much and I'll pay your club double. Just get me that player. We need 6 points and we're going to keep out of this. Is there that fight?
I'd say probably not at the moment, but I think that they are trying to look for them, but I don't know how many of them are available. There's not actually loads of players available at the moment. I think that's the other state of things, which you might know more than me at Super League level, but from our thing, there's not actually. You get angry when I said it earlier.
I know the championship level. I love the championship.
There's not many players available. There's just not many.
It's probably not many people can ask the question then, innit? That's probably double it as well, innit?
Probably, yeah.
Well, it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks. Because like you say, there's some big championship games coming up. And, Workington, Chris Foreman, with the players that they're bringing in, Workington do appear to be
they're making
money.
moves.
Yeah.
But are
they clearly they are the most desperate out of the 4 we've mentioned because they haven't won a game yet. So, listen, look, I think Workington, personal opinion, from what I've seen, I know they have been competitive. They've not exactly... Look, Featherstone and Lee results aside, there's been some, narrow defeats, but
A lot, yeah.
the problem is you're 12 rounds in.
Yeah.
You're 12 rounds in. You're coming up to halfway point of the season, and you've not picked up a win. So I know you can look at London. We win 2 games, we're above London, but then you've got Whitehaven on 6. So you need to win 3, 4. I know they're going to play each other.
Dewsbury ain't gone for Tom Garrett's not playing for KR at the moment. He's just back from his head knock. I wonder why he doesn't. Why don't they go and ask?
Get on the phone to Mr. Sawyer.
He come from there, didn't he? He did an article this week saying how much he thinks of him and how much he'd like to help him. And but like first phone call, they get Tom back here with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's a fair comment. In League One, Craig, just quickly, Swinton 54, Cornwall 16, Rochdale, Doncaster a classic. A lot of points there, 46 points to 28.
I watched the Cornwall game. They're a funny franchise, aren't they? Because you look at it, right? They look like, is it me? But they're getting a lot of fans.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they get.
Looks like they're getting a lot of fans. It looks like people are buzzing to go.
They're in 4 figures.
But I would. So next year, they this is their first year.
Yeah.
And they've got to try and get into that 10 for next year. Is that one? Am I right?
I think.
Or the group
I think they'll go in the 3rd tier and then take time to build.
Yeah. Eric Perez has already kind of said that they're going to source local players. It's going to be a slow burner.
Yeah.
Not like the Toronto boom and bust. Let's just sign all these Ricky Latellis and then the bust.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, our halfback went very well. Mr. Rusling, couple of bad options. I was kicking telly at him later on, but I was watching him. I was thinking this. A lot of times he goes left to right, and I thought, is that because he does usually play on right edge? So he's on the left edge.
Yeah, he plays both edges
because he's got a natural way of throwing it that way. When actually I'm thinking play out there, and I kept watching him thinking, why do you keep doing it?
Might be trust in his players.
Yeah, play well though.
I think he as.
Adam Jones and Rusling have been great for them clubs.
Yeah. Listen, I've not been down to Cornwall. I'm hoping to tick it off at some point this year.
There's a rumour around me that a club close to your heart, like Mr. Rusling.
Yeah,
can be.
Well, let's be honest. Bradford have the partnership with Cornwall.
I never said Bramwell.
No. They're saying they've got the partnership, and as we've already seen, we've seen a couple of Bradford players go down and play for Cornwall, and vice versa. Who knows? But Keighley, Midland Hurricanes, they're slowly getting going, and they pushed Keighley all the way yesterday. West Wales, after their first win against Cornwall, again back to square one. London Scholars not had a win yet this year. I know we keep talking about...
There seems to be a few dominant teams. I know Carl texted me while I was away saying, you hadn't phoned me, bro, because he's had a couple of defeats and he's like, wow, how he feels and things. I think if you looked at how everyone recruited, it's a bit like Championship, isn't it?
The table's
probably... You knew Keighley and Rochdale...
Keighley and North Wales.
North Wales.
They'd spent the money, they got the players.
I mean, that's the big game.
Sometimes stating obvious all the time, and you're like, well, yeah, they'll...
North Wales against Keighley a week on Saturday.
Yeah.
That is huge because North Wales are on this 8-game unbeaten run. I've been there a few times to Colwyn Bay. Listen, I'll be biased. Get North Wales in a championship.
Some fantastic. If you think about it, thinking out loud. If you imagine in the next couple of years, if you get Cornwall in, if you get
North Wales playing at Colwyn Bay,
it'll be.
Be a right competition.
Yeah. Toulouse in. We've got Toulouse in.
Newcastle, York.
You could have got some beautiful places in the UK, couldn't you?
Yeah.
We're not picking a league round, just nice place to visit on your train, Mick, and you mate, we're not just getting the best routes.
No, not at all. But like I say, the big game is North Wales versus Keighley in a couple of weeks' time. But what we are seeing in terms of League One is it effectively is a 5-horse race. No disrespect to Doncaster, but you've got your Hunslet, you've got your Swinton, you've got your North Wales, you've got Rochdale, and of course Keighley. Keighley are throwing serious money at it. Mick O'Neill, he wants to go up, whether he tells you privately or not. He feels the 210s will come in. That is why Keighley have got Chisholm. That's why Keighley are throwing money at it. They are desperate to get back up for next year.
Wow. And then they'll have to throw
more at it. Yeah. Wow, wonderful. Well, look, we'll finish on this Challenge Cup final. Well, 1895 Cup final, Challenge Cup final. I am going to go Lee Centurions to beat Featherstone. I think it'll be 28 points to 24. I think it'll be a bit of an high scorer. Not as high scoring as Featherstone versus York last year. I think that'll be a bigger spectacle than the Challenge Cup final. I'm excited. I'm going down. I'm going to enjoy myself in the sunshine. Fingers crossed. Yes, I'm going to go for Lee against Featherstone. Whether or not this has any bearing on what happens in the £1 million game or the playoffs, it might have a little bit of a psychological effect. Because it's obviously going to be a dry track. It's not going to be like Featherstone Rovers Post Office Road ground in round 2, where it was a mud bath. In the main one, I cannot see past Wigan. I just can't see past Wigan. If the Wigan that beat St Helens turns up, we know about Ian Watson and the process. It's going to be very forward, dominant, high completion rate, as you say, Craig. It's going to be all about capitalising on those errors, just like Wigan did against St Helens. Again, I think we're in for another absolute rip-roar of a classic. When they met each other the other Friday, obviously, players out, rested. We didn't get to see the Wigan Huddersfield, what we're going to see on Saturday. But yeah, I'm going to go for Lee and Wigan, which, yeah, I've gone for the Lancashire neighbours.
I'm going Fev. And my scoreline for Fev-Lee, I'm going to go Fev. I'm going to go 24, Lee 16. I think a steady win for Fev. I think Lee by the end of the season might get there. I'm not too sure, but I think they've got a lot of new players where Fev have kept a lot of their core, at least now for the last 5-6 games. They've got a core there, and they took other players. I'm not sure if Lee's still trying to figure it out. They've got about 4 different halfback rotations. They've got new players in. There's a lot of chip chop and change at Lee, and I think it's going to take a while to figure out. So I'm going Fev in the cup, and Wigan v Huddersfield. I'm going to go Huddersfield to win and shock the world and have Ken Davey up there, and I think they deserve it. Wigan have got a template, and I think if you disrupt it, that's the word, yeah, disrupt it. I think Huddersfield can win. They're just getting better and better. They're doing well, Huddersfield, aren't they? I know it's a close game against Toulouse, but they're getting better. They're getting better, and I'm going to go Huddersfield with the big cup win.
I think Lee will beat Feth. I've seen enough yesterday to scare me to death. Yeah. They've got too many guns against what Joe's saying. I agree with you. I'd always take the side that have been together longer, Mick, but they're putting together something that's ridiculous. Do I think Featherstone will have to bring in another? I don't know. I don't know how it'll all come out, but I think it'll be Lee's day. I think that when you get beat off somebody like they did off Fed, they've been waiting for this game.
100%. I know.
And Rugby League's a bit crazy where they just focus, so everyone will be going, this will be massive to them. Featherstone have been outstanding this year, and I'm not saying, I'd take it in a one-off game. And I think the Huddersfield Wigan game, I think it's 2 points in it. I think they're going to go right to the last 6 minutes. I think they're going to grind each other up, I hope they play some open stuff as well as that, because they both can play open stuff, but I've got a feeling, Mick, this is going to... I don't think there's anything between them. God. If you'd asked me a month ago, I've got Wigan by 12. I think Joe's right. You're probably looking at even in the score in the last 3 or 4 weeks. The form team of Huddersfield going into it, all to play for. I'm going to cop out, Mick. I can't give on. I think it's a draw.
We're all right with that as long as you don't claim whoever wins next week that you claim that. Keep that. Make sure we're not having a repeat of last Challenge Cup semi-final where he claimed that he thought Huddersfield would win, and we look back on the video and he's clearly said Hull KR. So we've got him on that one.
If Mick finishes off, thank you everybody. Yeah. Oliver Wilson we need to sort out his thing. Mick's going to do a little preview of the England side for the World Cup, what we're going to focus on. Would you play Mikey Lewis?
No.
Would he be in your squad to bring off if you needed him?
Well, he's playing for the Knights.
No. I'm saying at the end of the year, would he be somebody who you'd scare people to death with?
Fully fit.
We never did it with Rob Burrow, did we? We never give Rob enough chances.
Fully, obviously take out the injury.
Yeah, what about end of year? Do we carry Mikey Lewis in the squad? Are you brave, lads? Or
currently, no.
Currently, no.
Who would you have instead?
Well, you're obviously going to go for Lomax, George, They're going to be your first two. Gailey's played outstanding yesterday. Will Gailey get a run?
I mean...
Why are you carrying Mikey in your 32-man squad?
Good question.
Would you not like to bring him off bench if it were like you needed a try? Or would you say,
no,
if you needed a try now in Super League, who would you go for?
Craig, if you're talking about the sort of left field and orthodox kind of player, then yeah, Mikey Lewis can do that clever chip over the top, and who knows, it could sprinkle some magic. We know what Mikey Lewis can do.
Wembley Stadium or Old Trafford, if he just did something like that, the roof would come off, wouldn't it?
Unbelievable. But yeah, look, for next week, we want you to basically, in the comments, give us your England. We're just talking the 17. So give us your 17 starting players, fullback, right down to the 4 interchange players. Me, Joe, and Craig are going to do the same. And for you, lovely people...
Can we have one, Mick? 17, but can we have one that we throw in like a Mikey Lewis?
Yeah, so 18. 17 plus 1. So, a kind of left field, kind of not... a surprising choice kind of player. And for you people who are loyal fans who are commenting on YouTube, John Basti and Andy Dodds, they'll go through them all and they'll pick a winner. And Craig will deliver on the signed England shirt.
Signed England
there
shirt,
you go.
guaranteed for anybody
so
who...
what a prize. But don't forget, to enter, you've got to like and subscribe. So keep the subscriptions going and keep sharing, and the show will keep growing as well. And just a quick apologies why we weren't on last week. Craig was busy doing deals, so that's why we didn't get the show on last week. So we apologise. But yes, we'll be back next week.